All our little parts now are cleaned off. They weren't dusty. They didn't get dusty like the ship did for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe they were more covered up. I have realized now that, remember that little scratch on the side here? I have not painted that yet. I'm just debating, do I or don't I? You can hardly see it. And what I'm afraid is going to happen is if I try to paint over here, the difference in paint is going to be noticeable, like down here. You can, if you look hard and if the light is bright, you can actually see it. And this is the side that is going to be visible because it's got the hanger with the airplane sticking out of it. So I'm just, you know, I can always do it later, I guess. Although now I suppose now is the time. But the scratch is so slight. I'll move you in here and I'll show you. It's definitely not dust. It was quite a while ago that I put this masking tape on those holes so that stuff wouldn't fall down inside the hull and get lost on me. And I think I can remember thinking, I wonder when it will be I'll be taking this off so that we can mount the turrets on these holes. At least I think I was thinking that. And if I wasn't, I should have been. I'll get the ones on the other side later. Now, it seems to me that we got two different types of 6-inch guns here. We got the ones that have the rangefinder on the sides and those that don't. So I better find my manual. I'm pretty sure that the big guns, the ones that do not have the rangefinder on the sides, they go. This one goes on the bow. And I think the other three, well, the other three have to go in the other three places. But I think the reason, if I remember right, that this front one did not have the rangefinder on it was because they were finding that the spray coming up off the bow was interfering with the rangefinder, so they didn't bother with it, or they took it off, one or the two. I can't remember now. Anyway, the other three have it, so. Yeah, and then these ones here, there's two different types. There's this type, and there's this type. And they go in different places. So I better find the manual. I haven't looked at it for a few days. I'm not sure if I even remember where it is. But don't worry, we'll find it. Clearly we have found our manual, but that's not what this shot is about. When I'm doing my editing, I sometimes spot things that are kind of glaring, you might say. And I was noticing that when I sprayed the bottom of the hull months ago, probably over a year ago now, for whatever reason I did not get the airbrush angled in to catch the end of this where the shaft comes out here. Now, this is just friction fit, so it should be fairly easy, and well, as you can see it is, to just pull it back here. Just carefully pull it back, and then I'm just going to touch up the ends of this because I can actually see the bare plastic there. I don't know why I didn't notice that when I was actually spraying it. I guess I was just holding the airbrush at the wrong angle. Seems that I caught this one okay, although got a little bit of a chip off the paint right there. Anyway, we'll fix that up. Then we'll check out our manual. Now I'm noticing here that as well as this part right here, also the spray did not catch this. I guess the hull was obviously upside down when I was spraying, so I think in order to do this properly I've got to get the camera out of the way. I'm just going to go ahead and paint it. I'm probably the best thing to do is to just carefully do the entire thing, and that way we're not going to see where the brush, where the airbrush stopped and the paintbrush started, or vice versa. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it, and then we'll take a nice close look later. I'm going to let this dry for a couple hours, and then I'll put the shaft back in its place. And I guess when I was doing the port side, I had the presence of mind to make sure I did a good job, because it's all right. I didn't need to touch it up. And looking at it now, I can't really notice that I did it with a brush, at least not with the lighting the way it is. However, for our little guns here, I think we'll start out with the smallest ones and work our way up to the biggest ones. This drawing is opposite to the way the ship is orientated, so I got to remember that. Okay, we have two small guns that are shaped like this, with a sort of like a little roof over the breech, and then we have this type, which is more open. Now, according to the drawings here, the more open ones, for whatever reason, go on the bow, the bow section, and the ones that are closed over, it looks like they go on the stern section. So this is the stern section. So that means we would put one of these. Which way should they face? They may as well face. Which way are they facing on the drawing here? They're facing towards the stern, because I guess that makes a lot of sense, right? So it's going to go something like that. I'm not going to glue them in place yet, because I'm not sure what position I'm going to have them orientated in. Do I have them so that they're sort of pointed out, or... I was just noticing that if you swing one of these around, it's going to catch on the railing. Yeah, that wouldn't happen in real life. So I guess we're going to have them sort of aiming back like that. Anyway, I'll reposition the camera so we can see what we're doing, and get the rest of the small ones on. A few moments ago, when I was setting up to do this comparison shot here, this one here, it wouldn't stand up level like it is right now. It kept wanting to fall forward. And I thought, how am I going to prop that up? Okay, a little bit of Blu-Tack here on the bottom. And then all of a sudden it hit me. I was kind of concerned about the fact that these are so loose in the sockets on the ship, and they're sort of flopping around. I was thinking, do I glue them in? And then, yet I thought, what if I want to adjust something later and it's glued in? And I'm thinking now, well, maybe a little bit of Blu-Tack, not necessarily this much, but a little bit of Blu-Tack in the right place, and so it doesn't ooze out and is visible. Yeah, that might be the answer to the problem. We'll see how it goes. Okay, this is what I'm talking about when it's kind of loose. Now, this is just a trial run here. This might be too much. Or it might end up just poking the whole thing down into the, down into the hull of the ship, which, won't be a huge loss, but let's see what's going to happen here now. Okay. Let's see if I can angle down here. Can I see it oozing out anywhere? No, not really. And it's quite easy to make just very small adjustments. I think that's a good idea. Yeah, glad I thought of it. Now, let's not bend our railing. Come on, Ron. Okay, get Get that back just a little bit. Now, of course, we can readjust everything later. I am noticing, mind you can't see it from your angle, but if we did have these guns facing more out, then we couldn't see in behind, where it's kind of interesting. Yeah, I guess when we do our tour of the ship, which I had been hoping was going to be today, but I'm realizing now this is taking a lot longer than I thought it was going to. I mean, we've got 6 more of these little guns to put on, and then there's 6 of the 6-inch guns, or is there 8 of them? Anyway, yeah. Then there's the cranes. Maybe what I should just do is, instead of showing each one being put on, I'll put on the rest of these guns, and then when we get to the 6-inch guns, we'll video doing one of those. All 8 of our 105mm guns are in place now, and we'll worry about getting our barrels to the right elevation later. They will go up and down slightly. I didn't glue them in place. Yeah, so now the 150mm guns, or to those of us who live in North America, the 6-inch guns. And okay, one without the rangefinder, and one with the rangefinder, and pointing stern, one without the rangefinder. So I guess only the one amidships, you might say, has the rangefinder on it. And well, I'm going to do these the same way. I'm going to use a little bit of Blu-Tack. It'll be a lot easier on these. Just take a tiny little pinch of it here, and we'll put it on the side that is not going to be seen. Like, come on. Something like that. I think that's all we need, just to keep it from rattling around. I think that's okay. Now these ones apparently I did glue in place, so they can't be changed. I guess they're going to be like that. Maybe have it aiming out just a tiny bit, being as if there's nothing interesting to see in the back. Yeah, something like that. Maybe I don't need quite as much Blu-Tack. Try and do a little bit less here and see if I can keep from dropping it. It wants to stick to my finger more than it does to the plastic. Okay, this one should go here. Okay, I think something like that looks pretty good. And I'm going to do the other 4 the same way. All of our 6-inch guns are in place now. Now it's time for the big guns. And I don't know, should I use a little bit of Blu-Tack on those, or... You know, I guess I'm sort of worried about them maybe falling off. I don't think they'd fall off unless the ship was, turned over more or less on its side. Maybe it wouldn't hurt just to put a little bit on. Now, if you remember, the gun that does not have the rangefinder goes on the bow. And I would imagine the best way to have them is facing forward. I can micro adjust them later. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put the other 3 on, and then we'll take a quick look. We won't have time to do the proper look. That'll be tomorrow, because I want to make a backdrop and so on so that the superstructure does not blend into the background in the room here, and you don't really get to see the detail. And that's going to probably take me a little while to set up the way I like it. And yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead now and put the other 3 on, and then we'll put the cranes on. Now, when I swung the ship around here just now, I realized that we've got to put our propeller shaft back in place. This will be dry now. Yeah, that looks good. Now we'll do the crane on this side, being as that we have the ship turned around this way first. Although, you know what? Let's leave this one till last. I mean, this is the one that's going to have Tony's plane hanging on it. That's going to be the special one. I'll swing the ship around. I've got to do the other side anyway, so. Okay, very carefully now. We don't want to be busting something on our last day. Well, I guess tomorrow is going to be the last day. That'll be our big reveal. I've done this many, many times in the last 17 months, and I've been lucky. I haven't broken anything yet. Okay, now we're going to want to put our crane right there. Okay, this is the one that has the shorter grab, and yeah, it's a little bit loose. I think we're going to have to do the Blu-Tack thing with that as well. Put it on the far side of that part that looks like a gear. You know, if later on I find that there's just too much on here and it's oozing out and showing, I guess I can, I don't know, maybe that's too much. I'm getting my grass mowed again. Isn't that something? Neighbor comes over and mows my grass. No, I don't want to be pressing down so hard that I accidentally break something here. There's a lot of fragile stuff going on this crane. I'm just going to leave it like this for the time being, and we'll do our micro adjusting later. I was planning on hanging something from this. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. Anyway, we can twist it around. It's not like it's glued in place. It's just... Okay, back around we go again. You probably picked up on the idea that the reason I'm doing this is so that you actually get a sort of a sneak preview of what we're going to be doing tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be doing it differently. I think I'll probably just go completely around the entire ship. I won't use the macro lens. We've done enough macro lensing for the last 17 months. Okay. Now, right there. If I can push down in the center here, it'll kind of squash it out a little better. I don't know why this one seems to be harder to get into place. Oh, you know what? The shape of the superstructure is different on this side. I think it goes in a little bit more on the other side. Sort of work it down there. Smoosh our Blu-Tack into shape. Okay, now it has to be swung around just a little bit because we want Tony's aircraft to appear to have been just brought up out of the ocean. Okay, I think that will look kind of normal. I'm going to reposition the camera just a little bit and see if we can't hook the aircraft on there. Once again, just sort of a sneak peek. Now I gotta tell you, I was panicking here a minute ago. I could not find Tony's plane. I was thinking things like, oh no, did it get thrown out? It should go something like this. There we go. I think that's the way that type of hook is supposed to work. Alright, we're going to have to micro adjust. But you know what? Let's do our micro adjusting tomorrow. And then we'll have the big reveal. And we'll take a good look at it properly. The way it would be seen if it was in its case and your nose was right up against the glass. Or plexiglass, as the case is going to be. And got a little fix to do here. Oh, there we got it. Anyway, thanks for watching. And all being well, we will see you tomorrow with the big reveal.